Hello, friends, and welcome back to My Hobby Home. My name is Cathy. Thank you for joining me today. Well, I did a thing, guys. It is our Whip It Wednesday, but I did do a thing. I have sashed all my blocks together. Now, that one, it looks like I've got all browns, but they're not all browns. But friends, I've sashed them together, so now I need to sash my rows together. Well, I need to get the sashing on the rows. So let's get started. How are you guys doing? I know I look the same as I did on Monday night updates, but that's because after I finished my updates, I thought, well, I got a little time here, so let me record. And right as I was getting everything prepared to start recording, I got a phone call, but I still kept on sewing. And so I got all my squares put together, friends. But that is okay. That's a good problem to have, isn't it? That is definitely a good problem to have. So what I am doing is just sashing, putting the sashing on 3 of the 4 rows. I tried to do these where it was like a pink, a brown, and then a pink, and then a brown, pink, brown. I tried to alternate the colors so I'm not heavy all in one area with the same colors. So they're, alternating. But I did have one row that I've got 2 browns side by side. But that is okay. But how are you guys doing today? As I said, this was pre-recorded. It was recorded the same night or evening. It is nighttime now. I recorded my updates in the evening, and then my husband and I, we went and grabbed a bite to eat real quick. And when I got back, I was like, well, I might as well just go on and do this while I had the time to do it. It's easier to have time on the weekend to sew than it is during the week. So I thought I would just get to it in here. And plus, I'm trying to get a video out for every day that I put recordings out next week. And I say next week because it's not Wednesday. So for Friday, I needed to have a video out as well. And for Saturday, but I will be out of town on Saturday. And Friday, I've got a lot of running to do. I'm hoping to get the flowering that's behind me. I'm hoping to get that done. I was going through some fabric. When I showed you guys some of my stash, I found a fat quarter bundle that I have that I think I am going to pull out and use on the Fat Quarter Shop's quilt along, the spooled quilt along. I think it'll work pretty good. I don't really have a lot of fabrics that go with that Fat Quarter bundle, but I do know that Miss Ava has some fabric, I think, from that line that I have. So I may just go get a couple yards of a few different fabrics from her, whatever she has. Yeah, I don't know what I was doing when I was cutting this sashing because it is just chopped all to pieces. I'm sure I used my stripology with it, and it might have been too thick to cut, so that could be why my fabric looks like it's been through a meat grinder. Okay, so I have my first row there with a sashing on it. Let me get, I already have the sashing pinned to all three of these pieces here. That fourth row does not need a sashing on the bottom of it because it's the fourth row. Now, I will still need to do the side borders and the top and bottom border. I have not got those cut down, sewed and cut down to the size they need to be yet. Because I was like, well, we'll get this part done and I'll do that, kind of off camera. Because same way I'm doing this one here, I still need to get my borders ready to do that. And I can probably do the borders for both of them at the same time. But friends, I am so excited about the new sew along, and I still got 2 quilts to finish before I start that new sew along. But I'm hoping to have this one completed before the new sew along starts on Saturday. I mean, being that I'm getting the sashing and about to have the quilt top, the center part put together, all I'll have left is the borders. I think I'll be able to do all of that probably on Friday. But I'm trying to be more intentional with my time, trying to get a lot more of my sewing done. But I do have to have at least one day during the weekend that I can focus on working on my house, getting those things done. I know tonight when I finish this, I've got to go put that rub on that brisket. I have a brisket in my fridge and it's been there a couple days now. I need to go on and get that rub on it so I can get it cooked. That'll kind of be my meal prep for the week. I like to have meat in my fridge to kind of hold me for the week so I can make sandwiches. And with my husband in, I needed more than what I normally make. But I have chicken wings. I have a broccoli raisin salad. I try to keep something like that in there. I'll probably make a Greek salad also this week. So we'll have an option, we don't have to have the broccoli raisin every day. It's good to have options, don't you think? But I could eat that broccoli raisin salad every day. I love it, but my blood sugar doesn't. Once we get these 3 with the sashings on to the bottom, we'll start putting all of them together. I was hoping I would have my design wall in here today when I started doing this, but my husband has not had the opportunity to go out to the shed. He put my boards that I was going to cover out in the shed, and he hasn't had the opportunity to go out there and get them yet. But I also haven't had the opportunity to get all the boxes from behind this quilt either. I've got to get my utility shelf that's got all my craft stuff on it kind of cleaned off. And I've got crafts I need to get out from there. And once I get them off there, I'll be able to take my project boxes from behind me. It's all a matter of organizing and taking time and doing a little straightening up and cleaning up, and I just haven't done that. I figure if I keep smashing my stash that eventually it'll be cleaned and organized. Eventually. Or I'll use it all up. And guys, I've done so good not ordering any fabrics or anything online. But I had to do it a couple days ago. I ordered from Fat Quarter Shop, mainly because I know Miss Ava does not have the line that I ordered from Fat Quarter Shop. Normally, I'll check with her first to see if she has it, but I know I'm pretty certain she doesn't have this because I don't think she carries the line that I was looking at. She may, though, but I don't think she does. I've never seen it, any of their stuff. Or this designer stuff. I've never seen any of their stuff there. But friends, this Sunbeam quilt has been a fairly easy quilt to make. I'm shocked how easy it's been. Now, granted, it has taken us 2 months to make it. We're not quite there yet, the full 2 months, but I am certain, well, if you only do like an hour a week, which I did a little more than an hour a week. I did maybe 2 hours a week, hour and a half, somewhere like that. I didn't sit down and just sew like I did this evening. If I had done that, I would have had it done a whole lot sooner than now. But no time like the present, and it's not a race. But I want to get at least these 2 quilts. I want to get the flowering, and I want to get the Sunbeam. At least these 2 quilts ready to go for long arming and binding. I will be getting Miss Ava to have someone bind the quilts as well after they are long armed, because I don't have the time to bind right now. I've still got a quilt over here I've got to bind, and I just do not have the time to do it. I will find time, though. I will find the time. Okay, so now I have the 3. I have to think how many I've done. We've got 4 rows, but 3 of them has this sashing on it now. So let me cut these apart. I'm going to just kind of throw them over here. I'm not going to press them yet because we press to the sashing. I'm going to make sure I have these in like a brown, pink, and I think this is going to be my first row. I really liked this one. So this is going to be my first row. So what I need to do is find a row. Oops, I had a little thread right here. Let me cut that thread off. My next one has to start with a pink. So we are going to put them together like this. What you have to do is put the side, a sashing. This is sashing, and then the one without sashing on that side. And what I will do, just how I did before, I pin at the end. I line that up real good. Pin that. Get to the other end. Now, this is not an exact science or anything. I feel like this makes it come together a lot better if I pin it. But now that I have 2 sashed rows here, I need to make sure the sashing right here lines up with the sashing right here. Because if it doesn't, that is going to make a mess. So let's find our sashing. And I'm actually going to pin way down here. Pin these two sashings together way down here so they don't move. And then I'll pin them up here. Pin it up here at the top. That's one of the things you have to make sure they're even up here before you check the sashing down here. Because you don't want to pin it down here and then be off at the top. Okay, so now that I have these two sashings pinned, what I'm going to do, is pull a pin out. That's what I did. Now, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it at the pins, find the center of my block here. You'll see that's my diamond there, and I'm going to pin that. Then I'm going to hold my pins here, find my center here, even them up at the top, and pin that. And then this is my next block here. Okay, so now I have all of that pinned. So now it's a matter of just getting it on the table here. And this is the start to the center of our quilt here. Constantly make sure that your edges are even. Mine get off real easy. That's why I do a lot of pinning. But what I'll do is I'll grab that pin and stretch it tight and then make sure it's all even. I don't like it to be too piled up over here beside me. And I know you would think I'd learn. I'm not going to do 2 panels and then do the other, or 2 rows, then do the other 2 rows and then put those 2 sets. No, I'm going to do 2, then I'm going to add the 3rd one, then I'm going to add the 4th one. It would probably be much, much easier to do it the other way. But for me, this keeps everything in order, so I don't risk flipping it the wrong way and putting the wrong ones together. I mean, I know you'd have to have one side's not going to have, well, actually 2 sides is not going to have the sashing, because the top of the 3rd row is not going to have sashing and the bottom of the 4th row is not going to have sashing. So it still poses a problem, me putting it on the wrong direction if I do that, which honestly, you probably wouldn't even be able to tell that it was on the wrong direction. But I would know. I would know that I did it wrong. There's really no right or wrong way, but we want to get it as close to how I want it. You know, to me it would be wrong because it's not how I want it. It would be pretty cool though if I could get the whole quilt put together with you guys today, but that's not going to happen. I'm just going to get the rows put together and then I will work on the borders later. But keep your fingers crossed with me. I'm going to try to get the borders done and get this carried to Miss Ava on Friday or Saturday. It'll probably be Friday. I've got cats wanting in my sewing room because they're thinking it's my bedtime. And they're probably right. Okay, so that's the first two. Yeah, I may go on and do the next two because I know this one's going to be, okay, so that was brown, pink. We just got a lot of pinks. So what I'm going to do is, it's not going to matter. And I thought I even looked at that and was checking to make sure, but it's okay. Well, this could be my next row. We'll do it like that. We'll let this be the next row. So what I'll do is pin this one, and once we start sewing again, I'll bring you guys back. I now have these last two rows pinned together. What I will do, once I get these sewn, I will see which one looks best next to the second row. Which one looks best is the third row next to that second row. My fabric wants to keep sliding the way it's not supposed to, so I'm having to do a lot of stiff holding here. This is my biggest issue when it comes to doing rows. I don't know what would make it easier. I just don't know. I don't know if it's the fact that I have this other fabric back there that maybe is pushing it to the side. That could be what it is, because it can't go that direction. But if that's the case, I could just push it and let it run off the back of my table. We're making sure we're lined up, friends. We almost have the center of our quilt done. All we have to do now is put borders on. So exciting. And friends, everyone that's in the line of the storms, I hope everyone is okay. I know we have been under tornado warnings, not warnings, watches all day today. I don't like it when we're under those, so I try not to pay attention to all that right now, just because I don't want to think about all that. Because how I see it, if there is a tornado, I've already got my go bag ready, you know. But I hope everyone is safe. I hope everyone made it through. No damage, no one hurt. I always tell my husband we have insurance for the damage if something were to happen. It's already replaced the roof once, so. Okay, so now we have our 2 sets of rows. I'm going to be taking out the sashing pins as well. Let me just cut that real quick, get it laid over here. Now I will go ahead and press these 2 sets of rows that are put together, and I will be right back. Now when we're pressing towards the sashing. This way I don't have as big a piece to press. So I'll be right back, friends. All right, friends, we are back. And it looks like we're hitting right there at an hour right now. Oh, I didn't even pin that end. How did I miss that? My goodness. Or either I did and I pulled the pin out. I probably did and pulled the pin out. But we're going to put another one up in there. We're going to get this up under that needle there. Oh, I don't like that I've been going this long on this. But, you know, whatever it takes, right? We do whatever it takes. I didn't pin these, which I should have. Here we are putting our 2 sets of 2 rows together to make that quilt center. And it has a lot of pins in it, and I've probably poked myself with every one of them up to this point. I can see I'm going to have a lot of thread trimming to do on this one. There's some areas I didn't put pins in that I probably should have. Some places that wasn't necessary, and I did. That's normally how it goes though, friends. I like to put a lot of pins in there to make sure nothing moves around. And sometimes the pins stick into me and the fabric won't move because they're stuck into me. So I'm just continuing to walk the fabric here and keeping it together, making sure it's staying even. I can do it in some places better than others. And I am at a sashing right now, and that's one that I really need to have it be correct. This is so exciting to be getting this close to having 2 done. So I'll probably have 2 hanging up back here, getting finished this next week. I think that's going to be my focus this week, is to get these borders on. I will focus on getting our new Saturday sew-alongs cut up and ready to go too. But we want to have 2 quilts going to the quilt shop. So friends, we're over an hour here. What we did was sashed and pressed 3 or 4 rows of quilt. So, whoops. I just noticed I still got pins here. I better not be pulling it up. I need to get these pins out. I probably got 2 more over here. I probably got more than just these 4. But friends, this is what we're looking like at the moment. I do need to press it out. If I still got some pins and sashings, it will let... Oh, that's the wrong way. It will let me know. Let me back it up here and show y'all what we got. So that's the first row. You see that second row. Third row there. I don't know how well you could see that. It's like I'm not grabbing any of the quilt here. And the 4th row. So friends, thank you so much for joining me on this. I will get this pressed. I will get the borders on this week and hopefully have it to get it long armed Friday or Saturday. So give me a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please do. Feel free to leave a comment and tell me what you think. I do try to respond to each and every comment personally. And as always, until I see you again, I hope you have a very blessed day. Bye, friends.